trio is in a myriad amount of categories, leading the way in the top 10, and they have been phenomenal just as a rounding piece as we tip things up. And Florida State in their white trimmed and garnet start off with a rock. Tania Latson tried to get it to the corner, and that was tipped away by Sophie Burrows. So Syracuse coming in at 6-7. Florida State, as we mentioned, coming in at 12-2, getting their first true road win against Virginia Tech off the previous game. And Timpson just at the rim, couldn't get it to fall. The clock resets at 20. They'll get it underneath.
And this is a player that's top in rebounding, so a player that they're going to have to key in and box out on. But I'll tell you what, the Orange defense is where they've struggled, and I like these first two possessions, how they've been defensively. But hard task we talked about when you're guarding Tania Latson.
Syracuse, you're looking at their starting lineup at the bottom of your screen. They've had 6 different starting rotations this year. This one because of Kyra Wood on that Georgia Tech previous game in the 4th quarter. Left with an injury. She is out with concussion protocol. So Sophia Wilson will get her first start of the season.
And I love that. Look how she's playing, just coming in, being aggressive from the jump.
And the FSU starting 5, as we mentioned, the big 3, but also Brianna Turnage, who has been phenomenal for them in the last 6 or 7 games when she was called to be a part of the starting lineup, and Carla Villegas, who has been a sharpshooter for them this season. A steal by Georgia Woolley, getting things done on the defensive end. They have a 3-on-2 opportunity. Tray ball up and good. So the outside tray goes down for Dominique Camp.
And this is one of the keys for the Orange, was to dictate on both ends of the floor. And it's giving me deja vu. This is what we saw in their last matchup, in their loss at Georgia Tech. But they got out to a 10-0 start, and it started with the defense, and they were able to connect offensively as well.
Florida State with time. Tania Latson looks to respond for they triple her own in and out. There's Georgia Woolley doing a little bit of everything for Syracuse to start this game. Gets the rebound. Another 3. Burrows can't connect. Tania Wilson, of course, is going to have a lot of attention in the paint. Florida State coming off of a game where they had 74 points in the paint, off of their 105-74 win against Virginia Tech. Florida State starting the game 1 for 4 from the field, the 2 coming from Tania Latson to start, and a travel for Georgia Woolley leading to the first turnover for Syracuse.
And that's great defense by Tania Latson. We spoke so highly of her offensive game, but her ability as a two-way player to be able to get steals defensively is what I love most about her game as well.
Valenzuela checks in the game for Florida State. Also getting a look at Sydney Bowles in for Florida State as well, as we have a foul at the top of the key. So Florida State will get it about midcourt, or the hash mark right in front of the Syracuse bench. Georgia Woolley almost got a finger on it. Maria Gordon sends it to the corner. Bowles doesn't take time long to heat up. That was just in and out from outside. Off the bounce, Burrows took a little bit of the contact. They'll have an opportunity to reset. The foul committed after a fadeaway by Dominique Camp. She'll get 2 at the charity stripe.
Syracuse is so tough, and I think this is a huge key for them, specifically on the offensive end, is just to be aggressive, be the aggressor, and continue to attack the basket, draw fouls, maximize opportunities at the free throw line.
And Camp steps up for the first of 2. What a great story for her. The grad student sat out last season due to an ACL injury that she suffered in exhibition play. And we were able to call her game first coming back against Maryland earlier this season.
Absolutely. Slowly but surely, she's been very steady, but being that person to dish the ball and dish out assists is her foundation, and that's what she's been doing so well.
Valenzuela able to get the offensive rebound, puts it back up. Second field goal for Florida State as Wilson turns around, got the contact. So right now the pressure is on the back line against Florida State. A very aggressive start for Syracuse.
And Syracuse, they have great size, they have great strength on the inside, so that's what Coach Jack told us. She wants to establish that prowess in the paint and then work their way outside. But I also want to shout out Sophie Burrows, just how aggressive she's playing. She missed the last couple shots, but I just love her shot selection that she's taking and being aggressive offensively.
First of the pair goes down for Wilson as she extends it to a 4-point lead. And we're going to... Amaria Gordon tried to dive to the baseline. That's knocked out of bounds. Florida State will get it back. Talk about injuries and players coming back. Amaria Gordon, one of those players, well, they call her OMG for a reason. Right off the, it looked like it was off the leg of Gordon.
That's what I thought.
Tanaya Latson in the right place at the right time. Count the bucket. So 4 points to start the game for Tanaya Latson, where she can move it to 5 with this free throw.
I mean, you always got to watch that player inbounding the ball, because 9 times out of 10, they're the ones that are going to get it back. And she was just right there behind the defense at the basket. You said it, Angel, right place, right time. And that's a great look from Timpson and great finish by Latson.
Tanaya Latson shooting just about 80% on the season from the free throw line. Could knock that one down. The turnaround. Kira Scott didn't like the look, sent it back out. Woolley, short, gets her own miss. Tried to find space and wisely brings it back out. As for the screen, found Scott off the mark. How about the battle on the interior for these two teams?
I would have loved to see Scott more aggressive at the basket rather than shooting that tough short jumper. That would have been an easy lay-in.
I mentioned the foul against Syracuse. You have to run out to Bowles, Sydney Bowles, who already, her first 2 attempts were from outside, but chose to put it off the deck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Coach Brooke Wyckoff told us this is a player that comes in and she will shoot that thing, but to not settle and to be able to attack the basket does so well for her team.
You're looking at Brooke Wyckoff in her 4th season, 3rd consecutive season as head coach. She was able to sit in for as an interim head coach for Sue Simmerow, who recently retired after her 24th season. Has taken Florida State to 3 NCAA appearances as Tanaya Latson picked the pocket, got it on the left, and finishes as Tanaya Latson now has 6 of their 8 points.
These 2 guards right here at the top of Florida State, Tanaya Latson, Amaria Gordon, who's guarding the ball right now. You cannot be loose with it offensively because they will take it.
And that just sailed out of bounds with an look towards the baseline. But how about Tanaya Latson? She does so much more.
Well, this is why she's the leading scorer, because she maximizes and puts herself in positions to score, whether it's off the glass or getting steals like we saw right there.
Well, Brooke Wyckoff was telling us early, yes, she scored the 40 points. Congratulations. However, she had the 5 steals as well. Missed at the rim. Florida State does, well, almost got it back, and here comes Syracuse. Georgia Woolley, eyes behind her head. And 2 missed opportunities at the rim for Kira Scott.
Kira Scott's got to make that. That's an excellent pass from Georgia Woolley.
Top of the key, Valenzuela was looking for Tanaya Latson, said, you know what, I'm going to call my own number, but just short. KK Timpson at the rim, got the contact. 2 free throws on the way for Makayla Timpson.
Okay, so for Verajao, if I know that I'm guarding one of the top rebounders, not only in the ACC, but in the nation, it's one of those things where you have to face block them out, just carve them out. That should be your main focus. There wasn't contact there, and that's the thing. 9 times out of 10, when a player gets offensive rebound, they're going to get fouled or they're going to get a bucket.
I love the conversation that we had with Makayla Timpson, as we've covered her a couple of times this season. Coach Brooke Wyckoff said at some point she has to realize who she is. And I just want her to be a dog. And what a season she has had. She averaged a double-double last year. She is the leader in the ACC in double-doubles with 7. She has 18 on her career.
Do you remember we had talked to her about that, about being a dog and just kind of establishing that mentality? And she's like, oh, yeah, I established that, but she's saying it with like a big, goofy smile on her face.
Yes, I do.
This is such a great player, but a great person as well. So fun to talk to.
Georgia Woolley, as that was kicked off her foot, and some full court pressure that we saw from Florida State as they will step away. We will do the same, and Florida State has the lead now, up 1 with just under 5 minutes to play in the first.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather and 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want?
Shrimp.
Okay, wait up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No.
Philips Norelco One Blade presents Shave All Things. Your style made simple with Philips Norelco One Blade 360.
You could just watch ESPN, but why not tap in? Tap into peak fandom. Tap into an entire world of sports. Tap into the game and your people. Tap into an entire world of sports. Tap into an entire world of sports. ESPN.
ACC women's basketball is presented by Food Lion, official grocer of the ACC. A beautiful shot of Doak Campbell Stadium and the unconquered statue that is right out front as we welcome you into the Donald Tucker Center, where Syracuse is just down 1. And the plea from Coach Jack was you were going to have to be huge bigs. She was talking to her front court without Kyra Wood due to concussion protocol, a player that has 3 double-doubles on the season. You already mentioned, Asia, that this is a team that is second in offensive rebounds, and for them to be out rebounding Florida State 10-6 at this point, that's huge.
Exactly, and everybody with Wood out has to do just a little bit more. And we talk about the players in the front court, but right now, one of them, Wilson, being on the bench, I mean, it's been huge. Verjao, she's going to have to step up. I want to see more from her.
Yeah, Wilson on the bench with the 2 fouls as she had early in the game. So with an already depleted front court for the Orange, that's an adjustment that will have to be made to the second best scoring offense in the nation. Off on the attempt, and they continue to struggle from the field. They are 0 for their last 6. Bowles held up, finds KK Timpson. The turnaround off the glass, and another bucket for KK. Florida State on a 10-0 run. And showing defense on the sideline as well. Here comes Burrows at the rim, got the look, but not the angle. Omaria Gordon up the floor. KK Timpson just short on the delivery. Omaria Gordon saying, you messed up my OMG moment. And a travel call for Georgia Woolley, who is trying to plead her case to Karen Beato. As we have some substitutions on both sides.
Sydney Bowles, a player off the bench that's that absolute spark plug for the Seminoles. A player that just comes in fearless, is steady, and does what she needs to do, and is not afraid to shoot the basketball.
Tanai Latson got the angle off the glass, but couldn't connect. Goes out of bounds, and the Orange will get it back.
And Coach Jack, she wanted, as you said, to establish that prowess in the paint, but already right now, Florida State outscoring Syracuse 10-2 in the paint.
You got to look at Felicia Jack, her 3rd year for the Syracuse Orange. We mentioned the 1 of 4 coaches, as we have 2 of them here today leading their alma mater. Her jersey in the rafters, the first female to be in the rafters. For Syracuse, they just recently tied another player as well.
And we talked to both coaches, yeah, and essentially the same message here. Not to take away from other coaches and other programs, but there's just a sort of sense of pride that just hits different when you're coaching at your alma mater.
Since we're at the Donald Tucker Center, you can see Brooke Wyckoff's jersey in the rafters.
And we were saying honored but not retired.
Yes, not retired, or Makayla Timpson would have had to have a long conversation with her head coach about why she was 21.
Listen, that is flattery. We all want to be Brooke Wyckoff in the paint.
9 on the shot clock for Florida State, less than 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. The give and go for Tanaya Latson. Corner 3 goes up. A bit strong from Basantos. Ioni able to bring it back in, the sophomore. Sends it to Tanaya Latson, the Euro step. So canny at finishing at the rim.
That's her bread and butter. I love that she starts with her attack towards the rim, but again, a 3-level scorer. She can hit it from outside too, but off the bounce, she's just such a hard guard.
A lot of contact on the sideline as Makayla Timpson commits the foul on Georgia Woolley.
Tanaya Latson, I mean, look at that first step, and then I love it, the Euro step through to the basket. It's just that easy, tough bucket, tough finish.
Well, Syracuse in desperation mode as they are looking for their first field goal. They are almost 4 minutes without a field goal. Meanwhile, Florida State on a 12-0 run and speak it into existence as Dominique Camp delivers.
And credit Verajao as well for seeing that there. She is a great passer out of the post.
Attempt from up top for Tanaya Latson, no good. Here comes Camp. Woolley, she responds, and back iron. Georgia Woolley still looking for her first points of the game, now 0 for 3. Latson collects and delivers again. And Leggett Jack is beside herself on the bench. Earlier we asked her, well, what is the assignment defensively? She said, well, contain 0-0.
Yeah, easier said than done here. I think there's some fatigue setting in as well, but we do have to give Tanaya Latson a lot of credit to just her ability, that powerful first step. When she's off the bounce, she's strong. Her ability to finish at the rim.
Already 11 points for Tanaya Latson, as we mentioned, her coming off the 40-point game against Virginia Tech. Had 8 points against Jacksonville. Only played 8 minutes in that game prior to Virginia Tech, but how about 3 straight games with 30 or more? On the other side, Verajao able to knock that one down. Beautiful fadeaway.
And that's what I want to see from Verajao. Just get that dog, that monster in her to step up and be that dominant presence on the inside.
Maria Gordon found the lane as that rolls off the left side. Poked away by Turnage, but the Orange will get it back. 1 minute, 5 seconds left in the first quarter. Substitution with Kira Scott coming in for Verajao. Angelica Velez got to the paint. Beautiful delivery and the deuce. Journey Thompson.
Yeah, the transfer from LSU and Velez, she just brings a different type of speed to the game, and another one of those players that's so hard to guard off the bounce, and I love the dish. Speaking of dishes.
Dishes everywhere.
Speaking of dishes, OMG.
Avery Treadwell able to knock that one down, and here comes Florida State after the stop. About a 3-second difference between the game and shot clock. Maria Gordon cuffs it, and that was held up. So we'll see the officials who say it will stay with Florida State. As Eric Bruton, Karen Piatto, and Ashley Gloss are the officials for today's match.
And you see Coach Jack over there giving the officials an earful. She thought that the last play on Velez was a foul.
Florida State turns it over. Their third of the ball game, and the clock's still going. They may have to address that, but a significant amount of time actually went off of the game clock as Eric Bruton steps to the scores table to see if they can rectify it. I'm assuming.
Clock malfunction.
So they are indeed looking to make sure the right amount of time is put back onto the game clock. It looks like from just my glance, about 4 seconds came off of the game clock. But in the meantime, Florida State shooting 43% from the field. Syracuse just 29, went 5 minutes without a field goal. As Eric Bruton leaves the scores table and says they will reset it to 16.3, so Syracuse can hold for the last shot of the quarter. That's a jump ball for Amaria Gordon, with the possession staying with Syracuse.
It's great hustle, great execution defensively by the Seminoles. Another thing they're doing well on the defensive end as well is keeping Syracuse off the offensive glass.
Off the back, couldn't get it to go. Crafty, but couldn't connect for Camp, as 8 seconds now for Florida State to work with. Gordon dishes it to Turnage. Woolley got away with the foul up top, short on the attempt, and that will be the end of a very entertaining first quarter on both sides. Florida State outscoring Syracuse 1. How about 30 or more points in 4 of the last games? And coming off of that 40-point game, 5 assists and 5 steals to add as well. The first ACC player, male or female, when you can become that, when you can add that, with you knowing you have more eligibility on the other side of your career, she has been nothing short of fantastic this year.
It's that part. And setting that standard, talking about both men's and women's being the first to do that.
So Gordon picks up her first foul, gives it back to the Orange of Syracuse. Hoping to start this second quarter off better than they finished the first. And commit the turnover. How about FSU, though? Started off the game, as you mentioned, 1 for 6. Since have been 8 for 16, so that's where they had the lead. 21-15 now here in the second quarter. Sanaya Latson leading the way with 11 points. She's 5 for 9 from the field, as Gordon needed some help. Sends it out top. Vegas. Triple no good, and that's run down by Velez. Burrows turned down the 3, pulls up, and a nice bucket at the free throw line for Syracuse.
And Syracuse, they cooled off quite a bit in that first quarter, so it's nice to see Burrows come in and hit her first shot in the second quarter.
A lot of attention for Sanaya Latson at the top of the key. That ends up in a tie-up with Syracuse getting the ball back. And that's what it comes down to, right, Asia? Like, it can't be one-on-one when you try to contain Sanaya Latson, but for them to get it done on the other end defensively, you saw the gang, in a sense, at the top of the key.
Absolutely. It's going to be done, has to be done by committee. There's no guarding Sanaya Latson, as you said, one-on-one, so those players got to be there early in the gaps and just suffocate the paint, specifically free throw line extended.
Camp 2 for 4 now from the field. She does lead the way for Syracuse with 7 points. Sanaya pulls up, short on the shot. Rolled through about 3 different players' legs, and Velez comes out with the rock. Tried to send it back door to Camp. She would have had to put some extra English on it to deliver that one, as we have a substitution for Maddie, as they call her, Potts, coming in for Syracuse.
Let's have another look there, and that's just excellent stop by Viejas, and then getting back to the defensive in that last possession. Verjao lucked out because she has to be aggressive boxing out Timpson, because Timpson is going to get to the glass every single time.
Turnage held up. We're seeing more of that zone from Syracuse with 10 on the shot clock. Turnage lines it up. Went after her own rebound, so it will stay with Florida State. 20 reset underneath, and we have a substitution.
And with Syracuse in the zone right now, they're clearly looking to clog the paint, limit touches from Timpson, limit Latson from being able to get down into the nail. But the biggest thing, box out, and they're going to have to scramble as well on some of these players from outside the arc.
And a foul actually going to be called at the top of the key as Tanaya Latson just gives a smile. She tried to give it her all there, but Syracuse will get the ball there as that's the team's second foul as well. Sydney Bowles will check into the ball game for Tanaya Latson as she gets a short conversation with Brooke Wyckoff. Woolley uses that off arm for the offensive foul. Picks up her first foul. Mariana Valenzuela tried to spin into a look underneath, but that was hit away, tipped back in bounds, and Georgia Woolley sends it to Burrows on the wing. And Burrows has struggled from outside to start this ball game.
But I gotta say, for the Orange, I love that last defensive possession. We talked about the effort by committee. Two were on Timpson to box her out. So when the other player, when Valenzuela had the ball, she was able to get the rebound. Then the bigs came over and doubled her and caused the turnover.
A couple of trips down the floor. You wonder when you will hear Makayla Timpson's name being called, as she had the 4 points in the first quarter.
They said golfer too. She said, "You better respect my little short jumper."
Timpson now with 6 points as Amaria Gordon couldn't finish off the glass. Timpson with a late whistle. We'll get a look at the free throw line.
You see, that's what happens. You got to box her out. I'm going to continue to say this. You have to box out the top rebounder, one of the top rebounders in conference, in the nation. That didn't happen, and guess what? Verajao got another foul. Now has to sit on the bench.
So now Timpson at the free throw line, shooting 83% and knocks down the first one. Well, next Sunday we have 4 games featuring 3 top 20 teams. Number 14, Duke takes on Virginia at noon Eastern, then 17th ranked North Carolina hosts BC, followed by 13th ranked Georgia Tech and Louisville, and we cap the day with Miami and Syracuse. Catch it all right here on the ACC Network. We appreciate you joining us for today's match between Florida State and Syracuse. Florida State 2-0 in ACC play, with Syracuse still looking for their first win in conference play. So another tie-up. We've had about 5 tie-ups already in this ball game.
Well, I know we're going to see that. These are both teams that are workhorses. They're going to work, go after those 50-50 balls. Game keys that came from both coaches, that toughness, that effort.
So tough that Brooke Wyckoff even broke a piece of the table off.
She had a little stomp when she said
stomp.
tough. And
Georgia Woolley gets fouled. They will say it's a 3-point attempt, so she'll get 3. A closeout underneath. Tanaya Latson gets a nod to check back in. And Amaria Gordon picks up her second.
veteran player here, Georgia Woolley, she just knows that she has to take over, and she's going to just continue to be aggressive in her attack, shooting from outside beyond the arc, and that was a great way to draw the foul there. Now she has to connect on 3 free throws.
And Asia, a great way to get into a rhythm now, just so from the field. Had the 22 points against Georgia Tech. We mentioned her being the leading scorer for Syracuse this season. But what a great story for her as well, the trust that she had in Coach Jack coming over to Syracuse from Buffalo, was the MAC Freshman of the Year. And talks about just the respect that she continues to work for within ACC play. Knocks down the first, coming in with 1,469 career points. Needs actually 28 points today to eclipse the 1,000-point mark while she's been at Syracuse. She'll get one more attempt from outside, or from the free throw, rather, and connects from all three.
And right now, just with the way Syracuse is shooting, not that great from outside, in order to maximize those opportunities, they're going to have to get on the glass for second chance opportunities, get steals like they are now and convert, as well as get to the free throw line.
The 7th turnover for Syracuse, and a foul underneath as Tanaya Latson had great defense to stop to 3-on-1 opportunity on the other end.
Whew. Just when you think that you get a steal and you're about to go to one end, Tanaya Latson is just right there. Have another look at it here, a fumble. Balez gets the ball, but then that is great defense there. Transition defense from Tanaya Latson, protecting the hole and being able to get the steal and draw the contact.
Yeah, Balez picks up her first foul there as she was trying to find something underneath. Timpson can't get the duck in.
I saw what she was thinking. Valenzuela has to cut all the way through. She short-stopped it.
3-ball outside. That's good for Madeline Potts. You can hear a little bit of a roar as well because she has some family in town. In town, I mean from Australia.
Flew into Georgia and made the drive here.
We're also at the game at Georgia Tech, as well as Sophie Burrows and her parents from Australia as well.
Have another look here. That's just a great pass, open in the corner, and Maddie able to knock it down. It was funny when Coach Jack said, I need you to be aggressive in this game, be the aggressor on both ends of the floor, mess up your ponytail a little bit. Ponytail's intact, but that was a great shot.
And I love that right when she said that, there was a play where her hair came out of place just a little bit. She fixed it and kind of looked at Coach like, you know, I got you, Coach. I got you, Coach. Big shot for them there. Just makes it a 2-point game. 5:42 left in the first half. It's gone back and forth with Florida State. Now shooting just 34% from the field as they close out the first quarter, shooting close to 50. KK Timpson picks up her second personal foul. Tanaya Latson getting some different moments of rest throughout this game. Also, have to remember she did injure the ankle, something that was questionable for her, as well as another three goes down for Syracuse. And just like that, they're ahead by 1.
I see, you better show up for the fam.
Villegas tries to respond with a triple of her own, short, and a nice rebound by Shai Hawkins as Velez steps back for a triple. Omaria Gordon knocks that away from the hands of Journey Thompson as we're approaching the halfway mark here in the second. Omaria Gordon couldn't finish with a nice finesse at the rim. And a stoppage of play, actually a travel call against Shai Hawkins, which will be the 12th turnover for Syracuse.
Well, things are picking up for the Orange from beyond the arc, and I love it. Come off the bench. I see you, Maddie Potts, showing out for the fans.
Phillips Norelco One Blade presents So Gentle.
So gentle?
Your style made simple with Phillips Norelco One Blade 360.
Here we go. They're following us.
This is awesome.
Giddy up.
The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
You got the tickets?
Vivid Seats, the only ticket company in the game that rewards you for buying. From concerts to sports and everything in between. Vivid Seats, official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Thanks, ladies. Well, I'm a little jealous. You know, the ladies always have fun in the studio, so thanks, ladies. But a great one we have so far with just 4:54 left in the second quarter. This is what it looks like by quarter. Syracuse in the first 15 and 11-4 advantage for Syracuse in the second, though.
And you credit Syracuse. Coach Jack told us you specifically saw in that loss against Georgia Tech. They were outscored 28-15 in the second quarter, so you better believe that punching and continuing that momentum and that energy in the second quarter was a focus for the Orange.
And for Florida State on the other side, they usually outscore their opponents in each quarter, but the second quarter is where they have the biggest dip, the fewest amount of points that they score in a game. So maybe some adjustments that need to be made for Florida State just from where it's happening, but a couple of key fouls as well. And you have to credit Syracuse for what they've been able to do from 3 in the second quarter. Well, here's Saturday's ACC Network men's basketball triple header. Clemson hosts Florida State at Little John to start us off at 2 Eastern, then North Carolina, NC State. They square off at Raleigh, and finally, Virginia Tech takes on Cal. Should be a great afternoon, of course. All of that action on the ACC Network. Duke was in the lead when we came on air, so just a couple of games around the league as Bowles able to get the bucket that puts Florida State back out front. Journey Thompson. One too many steps. So the 13th turnover for Syracuse. Syracuse has the 6 assists on 8 made field goals, but they haven't had a lot in the last few minutes as Zamaria Gordon able to knock down the triple from up top and extends it to a 2-possession game. Also the first 3 made for Florida State.
And despite having a slower night from outside, a part of Coach Jack's key going into this game was to run them off the line, keep them out the paint, keep them into that tough mid-range game. So that shot can't be easy. It can't be that easy in there.
Pulls off the mark there. Amari Gordon couldn't get a hand on it. So here comes Velez, sends it up top. More movement. Journey Thompson misses it point blank, and a foul underneath going against the Orange. It has been a struggle from outside for Florida State, just 1 for 13 from outside. But Mario Gordon hitting it when they needed it the most. 2-point game with 3:11 left in the second quarter.
In Syracuse, they got to do a better job connecting on those opportunities that they get off of stops, connecting on bunnies inside the paint specifically.
Bowles has struggled in this ball game, now 0 for 4 from outside. Was one of their best 3-point shooters on the team, coming in at 36%, already knocked down 28 on the season. Went 5 for 8 from 3 against Gonzaga this year. But it has not been her day today. Velez attracts 2. Thompson gets it, tries to find help. 5 on the shot clock. Georgia Woolley going at Makayla Timpson, and Journey able to knock that one down.
There we go. The cuts, the way they're drawing defenders, probing and finding players has been there. It's just a matter of connecting.
Makayla Timpson was double teamed on the block. And here comes Syracuse. Have a 3-on-1 opportunity as Journey once again able to score back-to-back buckets for Syracuse as they're out front by 2 with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second.
Phillips Norelco One Blade presents Shave All Things. Your style made simple with Phillips Norelco One Blade 360.
This is awesome.
Giddy up.
The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
See what's new at Weight Watchers. The #1 doctor-recommended points program now offers access to GLP-1 medications.
Your prescription's on its way.
Our members lose 21% of their body weight. Sign up now at WeightWatchers.com.
Welcome back. Well, Syracuse out front by 2. They're on a 6-0 run, as Florida State had to really call a timeout there and readjust their looks. Omari Gordon out of the timeout ties things up.
I love it. That's how you get into the gaps, find that open space, and great mid-range jumper.
Georgia Woolley couldn't respond with the triple. Velez has really been a spark off the bench for Syracuse.
Right, she's been all over the place defensively, crashing the glass at her size, which is absolutely impressive. That's what happens. You create second chance opportunities for yourself and maximize on those opportunities.
Journey Thompson now with 8 points. She's averaging just 4 on the season. The call to action for Coach Jack. Bigs, you have to step up so everyone else, the guards, can go to work, and they've done that. Just a gentle reminder as well, without their primary post player in Kyra Wood.
Everybody has to do just a little bit more on the glass specifically. Velez already has 5.
Amaria Gordon tried to see if she could scoop up the steal, instead picks up the foul. Syracuse in the bonus, so should be shooting 2 here. And Amaria Gordon has to come out now with her third, so something to keep your eye on in the second half, rather. So Journey Thompson will step up to the free throw line, just under 70% from the charity stripe this season. Hasn't scored in the last 2 games, is being asked to do more off of the bench. Had a season-high 14 points, though, against Missouri.
And she just had back-to-back buckets to put the orange in front, so she's doing what she needs to do, opportunistic plays, being right in the right spot at the right time, and connecting from inside.
Bowles, wing 3 in and out, and she is irate. Less than a minute to go here in the first half. Velez slowing things down, almost pickpocketed, is able to save it, calls a timeout, and Syracuse will have some time to reconvene. 16 on the shot clock, 43.5 on the game clock. And for Syracuse, I love the conversation. Coach Jack, always one of the best inspirational vocalists you can hear. But she said defensively we have to be better. We can see from last year to this year what the difference has been. Giving up more points from 3, but also you've lost a lot of your firepower and 3 good players a season ago. So how that has to be a part of your identity on the defensive end this year, we have yet to see.
Absolutely, the firepower on both ends of the floor, but we know what these players can do. So much talent here offensively. As you said, the defense is where they really have to connect, and it's, you know, it's a lot about effort as well. And coming into this matchup tonight, I really think they've come out with a fire. They're being aggressive. They're crashing the glass. They're diving on the ball, getting 50-50 balls.
The toughness that was on top of their priority list coming into this ball game. Got a second difference between the game and shot clock, as Bowles will find Tanaya Latson to take a little bit of air out of the ball. Latson up top, gets a screen from Bowles. Bowles receives it. The 3, again off the mark. About 3 seconds for Syracuse to work with. Tanaya found the ball in her hands, but decided not to let it fly, and that will do it for the first half. Syracuse with the 3-point edge.
Chance opportunities. They got to the free throw line quite a few times to get some from the charity stripe. The orange outside of the defense that we just talked about, specifically on Latson, offensively, they're doing a great job maximizing extra possessions for themselves.
So Syracuse outscored Florida State 20-11 in that second quarter. They start the half off with a turnover, which will lead them to 10 turnovers so far today. Florida State has not shot well from outside as well, just shooting 5% from three-point. Georgia Woolley off the bounce. Now 0 for 6 from the field. All of her points coming from the free throw line. Vega sends it to Omaria Gordon, who has knocked down one of the threes and knocks down yet another.
And that's all it takes is it being done by committee, making those extra passes, forcing rotations, and I love that extra pass to Gordon in the corner.
Shooting 33% from three-point distance this season. And the woes continue for Georgia Woolley. Syracuse does get it back, Georgia once again, and that has been the indicator of what it's looked like throughout the entire ball game for Georgia.
Oh yeah, and I thought she could have dived a little bit deeper into the paint to make that shot easier for her, but on the other end, again, connecting that extra pass there to Gordon open in the corner. This is a player that can knock it down from three, and that was great recognition by the Seminoles.
7 assists on 14 made field goals. Syracuse on the inside. Verja with the spin move. Crowd not too pleased, thinking she moved a couple of steps. Turnage sends it on the inside. Keke put it off the floor and turns it over.
Timpson, you got to shoot that one right away.
Dominique Camp up top for Syracuse. Again, Syracuse playing without their primary starting post player in Kyra Wood. Out due to concussion protocol, has 3 double-doubles on the season. Dominique Camp, it's like cone work underneath, but couldn't get it to fall.
The bounce pass would have been there on the drop off to the post.
Sanaya Wilson on the other end as Viegas able to knock down the triple, and they regain the lead both times this half because of the tray ball. So the jump ball will keep it here.
And that's what's key for the Seminoles. We see how they're doing, packing it in the paint, so all you got to do is just be shot ready and make that extra pass. And Viejas, a player, a sniper, if you will, from three, just able to knock it down.
Vegas under 7 points on average for this season, has made 23 threes this season.
And you saw even on that shot that she had 2 flying at her. So first, Florida State, if they continue to just whip that ball around, take advantage of the defense.
And so Eric Bruton is at the scores table. We'll take a media timeout. We'll be back after the break.
Phillips Norelco One Blade presents So Gentle.
So gentle?
Your style made simple with Phillips Norelco One Blade 360.
Any questions?
How did you become the Capital One Bank guy?
I've always been passionate about no fees or minimums on checking accounts.
Aren't you in the Hall of Fame?
And didn't you live in space?
What's in your wallet?
North Carolina takes on NC State in a rivalry clash in the ACC. Pass the alley-oop to Styles.
North Carolina at NC State, Saturday at 4 Eastern on ACCN.
Couple of standout players returning home to lead the next. The generations to follow. Felicia Leggett-Jack had her jersey retired, the only female in the rafters. That was before they retired Kayla Alexander's number 40 jersey. That was back when they played Notre Dame, December 8th. And for Brooke Wyckoff, the 4-time All-ACC selection, named the head coach of her squad, March 29th of 2022. You can get a great look of them there. What I love most is what you mentioned earlier when they said it just feels different when you can get back to a program that has given so much to you and continue to try and live that legacy of what it is to play at your alma mater.
Yeah, these females both lead their program, so there's just that added sense of pride. And what I love most, what I've noticed, is I feel like the way they coach in terms of their personalities translates back to how they were as players. Coach Jack, I know she was getting into her teammates, and then Coach Brooke, I could picture her being kind of like that jolly, cheerful, always next best action, that positive player. You can sort of see it in their coaching styles. I love it.
Absolutely. Villegas, another one. Puts them out front once again. So 41-39 lead for Florida State. Villegas with 2 threes in this quarter after Florida State shot just 5% from three-point lane in the first half.
Syracuse got to get better defensively on those rotations with how aggressive they're packing in the paint. Threes are more than 2, so you don't want Florida State to continue to light it up.
Villegas tried another one, so Lightning doesn't strike for yet another time. They are 3, well, before that one, they were 3 for 3 from outside. Knocked out of bounds. Florida State will get it back.
Another 3 here for Villegas. It's just whipping that ball around, forcing that rotation. But then on the other end, you don't let up. Woolley, the veteran, the leading scorer, the one we talked about, just continuing to carry the team. Great attack to the basket.
That's just her first field goal made of the game. Timpson gets it, turns around, and that's easy money. You wonder, she's not the type of player, as Coach Brooke Wyckoff mentioned, that's going to demand the ball. But when she touches the ball, she makes things happen.
Absolutely, and that's going to be next level for her, because when you get that sense of demanding it, your teammates will look for you more.
Woolley had enough time, couldn't knock down the triple. It's been a frustrating day in the office for Georgia Woolley, just now 1 for 10 from the field.
Definitely don't want to see her settle outside. I loved her aggression when attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line.
Timpson again left alone, and this time Verjao bumps underneath and commits the foul. Timpson will 2 free throws coming up.
Okay, Verjao not in the right position defensively on the help. She was behind Timpson. Have another look at it here. Look how late that rotation is off of the help. So got to be there early. You got to be in front of Timpson.
And that is Verjao's 3rd foul, so she'll take a seat with Maddie Potts checking back in. How about her knocking down the 2 triples in the first half? Well, Saturday night at 8 Eastern, after our men's basketball triple header, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the day in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every men's game and look ahead the best matchups on the schedule in the coming week. Quite the crew. And I hope you have quite the devices as we have women's basketball all week as well. And the missed opportunity to extend the lead there for Florida State. Georgia Woolley took the contact, and Villegas came down on the shooting arm, so free throws on the way for Georgia Woolley.
But see, I like that attack. She's cold shooting that clearly from outside, so you got to be aggressive, be the aggressor offensively, and draw that contact, and of course, make the shots here from the charity stripe.
Knocks down the first of the pair, second in the ACC when it comes down to free throws. Tanaya Latson was in the top 5 as well. Just seeing the free throw line so many different times in this year, and is able to connect on both. The last time I said anything about free throws, you gave me a dirty look, and I didn't want to give a jinx, so Georgia Woolley just too good from the free throw line.
Oh yeah, she said it doesn't apply to her.
Villegas, a quick shot from up top, off the mark. Here comes Burrows. Haven't heard a lot from Burrows after the first quarter. Rose right now at 4 points. Look at the rim, nothing there, and Timpson comes down with the rebound.
I'm not mad at the attack, though. I like Georgia Woolley continuing to be aggressive going downhill.
Tania Latson, as you mentioned, downhill. Gets fouled underneath. Timpson Tania Latson rather, still looking for her first points since the 1:37 mark in the first quarter. So Villegas and Turnage will take a seat. Maya Bono will check in as well as Tania Latson knocks down the first, gets one more. Tania Latson now with 12. Has scored 30 or more in 3 of the last 4 games. Under the halfway mark in the third quarter with Florida State up by 3. Georgia Woolley, her activity, trying to find different ways to impact the game offensively.
She is a high motor, and you said the activity, trying to find ways to impact offensively. I love the way you put that, because when the scoring is not coming for you percentage-wise from outside, what else are you going to be able to do? How else are you going to be able to generate offense? And that's what we're seeing from Georgia Woolley.
And Coach Jack will have more. We'll see it after the break. Any questions?
How did you become the Capital One Bank guy?
You mind? I've always been passionate about no fees or minimums on checking accounts.
How do I get your job?
Hard work, dedication.
I meant the Capital One Bank guy.
It's like Mr. Jeter said, hard work and dedication.
What's been the highlight of your career?
And that have to be
bank guy.
Helping people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Aren't you in the Hall of Fame?
And didn't you live in space?
What's in your wallet?
Bye, honey.
Morning breath, huh?
Dr. Garcia?
Oof.
Reality checkup.
Morning breath can be a sign of underlying health issues.
Crest Pro Health mouthwash protects your mouth overnight, every night, by killing millions of bacteria and preventing oral health issues like plaque and bad breath before they start.
Without the burn.
Oh.
And so much pressure!
Crest.
Florida State up by 3 because of the 3. They are 3 for 6 this half after just being 5% from distance in the first.
And to put it in the most simplest way, they're knocking down shots from beyond the arc, but from an X and O standpoint, they're doing a better job making quicker decisions, forcing rotations, especially we talked about how they were clogging it inside, so they're making those extra passes, and they're doing it a lot quicker, and then as I said before, they're able to connect.
Carla Villegas with 2 triples in this half as well. 6 of their 7 field goal attempts have been from the 3. So you think that would be something that they needed to see go down in the second half. Maybe a discussion that Brooke Wyckoff also discussed with them after just hitting 1 of 17 in the first half. The 2 trips to the free throw line on fouls in the paint as well. So they're just trying to balance things out in this ball game. The Syracuse able to score on the other end.
Good job adjustment, Syracuse. Those rotations are there a lot quicker.
Latson held up, sends it out to Valenzuela, and another triple. That has been the difference maker for Florida State. And also the ball movement. Tania Latson, I know that we've mentioned just her not being the scoring threat that we've seen in games past, but making the plays when other teams are collapsing on her.
And that's what we talked about, the luxury of having her prowess on the offensive end, but her ability to do much more than that, move the ball around and create offense for her teammates.
Madeline Potts knocks down her 3rd triple of the game, making it a 1-point game. Syracuse showing zone once again, and it really has slowed down Florida State, who has the 2nd best offense in the nation.
Potts, just an outstanding performance off the bench, giving that energy to the orange. Lights out, shot ready from beyond the arc. Something we love to see, especially from the freshman there.
Timpson tried to find some new real estate, couldn't knock it down. Valenzuela. As Tanaya Latson will reset things with 10 on the shot clock. Wraps it around to Valenzuela, and the bump coming from Georgia Woolley, which will reset the clock at 20. And also give Georgia Woolley her 4th foul of the ball game. So not a great series there for Syracuse, which is why Shai Hawkins will check in the ball game now for the Orange, and Georgia will take a seat. And it just adds up as Florida State is now in the bonus, and 2 on the way for Valenzuela. Well, next Sunday we have 4 games featuring 3 top 20 teams. 14th ranked Duke takes on Virginia at noon Eastern, then 17th ranked North Carolina. They host BC, followed by the 13th ranked Georgia Tech and Louisville. We cap the day with Miami and Syracuse. All that action on the ACC network as we welcome you to Donald Tucker Center. Andrew Gray alongside Asia Ellison as well. At the 3-minute mark, Tanaya Latson comes up with the steal and rolls that one in for her first field goal since the 1-minute mark in the first quarter rather.
It's a great momentum play for the Seminoles, specifically for Tanaya Latson.
Another one. You can put us on repeat. It doesn't take much time for Tanaya Latson to get going, and most time it happens on the defensive end.
And I'm talking about how she's able to generate offense by maximizing possessions, not just for her team, but for herself. But it was 2 in a row. The first steal here, and just the lay-in, able to convert on the other end. And then she said, hey, anything I can do, I'm going to do it right on again. And there we go, the steal to the score. Tanaya Latson, this is what she does, being a two-way player on both ends of the floor, boding well for the Seminoles offensively.
Scoring downhill was the concern for Coach Jack. When she gets going, she is a motor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that first step, the way she's able to attack that power behind it, there's just absolutely no answer for her. The Orange, you just got to take care of the basketball. Can't forget, she likes to have her hands all up in there. And as you said, once she gets it, she's going, she's gone.
17 turnovers for Syracuse. Florida State also second in the ACC in steals. They had 21 against Virginia Tech just a game ago. Amaria Gordon had 7 herself. Florida State finding ways to score off that as well. In the first half, they only had 4 points in transition. Now they're with 10 and another steal. So 3 consecutive defensive stops with steals. A foul will be assessed, and it looks like they're going to call this one on Madeline Potts.
And the Seminoles putting on that pressure defensively. We saw in that last possession, the run and jump to get the steal.
So I think there was a huddle for the officials and just wanted to make sure that they were on the same page. So it is not a foul. They're actually going to say we're going to jump it, and Syracuse gets the ball. And a foul will be called against Florida State. So Mariana Valenzuela will pick up the foul there. Just her first foul of the ball game. Florida State outscoring Syracuse 23-13 in the third after being outscored 20-11 in the second. Tanaya Latson got a hand on it. Georgia Woolley tried to secure it. Instead, here comes Amaya. Sends it out. Amaria Gordon. And a big hustle play for the Orange. Burrows comes out of the pack with the rock, and a trip at the top of the key. Tanaya Latson thinks otherwise.
Gonna have to have another look to see it there, but I think the biggest thing with Georgia Woolley having Latson on her, she's got to have a player come up and set the ball screen to relieve some of that pressure off of her from the defense of Latson. I'm trying to see it here. Not a great angle, but I'm thinking she tripped over the knee of Latson.
It looked like they tangled feet a little bit. And that's
like
something fans, of course, won't see. But both teams in the bonus, so free throws the rest of the way of this quarter. And this is a big moment here for Syracuse as they've had 4 turnovers in the last 4 possessions. I don't know if that was the angle. You could kind of see it from the other side, but from that angle, I can understand why the crowd would be displeased.
Yeah, that angle didn't really look like too much happened from the other one. I think you were right, Angel. The feet getting caught up, so easy call for a foul there. And free throws, something that'll be key in this game down the stretch.
I'm sorry, did you say I was right? I don't say that often, so I just wanted to make sure.
I'm going to give you your flowers.
Heard you right. Syracuse shooting 80% from the free throw line. Florida State 83. Valenzuela at the top of the key drains it. 8-point lead for Florida State. This is the biggest lead of the game. And Florida State will get it back. It has gone back and forth. What a battle between Syracuse looking for their first ACC win and Florida State. It's been knocking on the door, trying to pick up big wins, especially move on to 3-0 in ACC play, but also receiving votes in the top 25 as well. Omaria Gordon with the floater just off the mark. And that will stay with the Noles.
And Valenzuela in this lineup, I love her ability to be able to stretch the floor out. So now you have, outside of Timpson, players all around the arc who are capable of knocking down the 3, opening up the offense.
Bonner off the bounce, short. Timpson outstretched, gets the rebound, deflected at the rim. Tania Latson thought she can pick one off. Instead, here comes Velez. Potts guarded by Latson. Less than 30 seconds left in this quarter, and it's been a battle. Thompson, held up by Valenzuela. 2 on the shot clock, turns around, gets the bucket as Journey Thompson is putting on a show here today for Syracuse when they need her the most.
I love that patience and her poise and just making that move there in the post, getting from high to the low.
Has a season-high 14 points against Missouri. She's sitting at 13. 5 on the point 5 in OMG. With the OMG moment, knocks it down as time expires in the 3rd.
Get a little bit tighter on the ball because they've got some of the top defenders, elite defenders here in the backcourt. Even Timpson got her hands in there a little bit.
Florida State starts the 4th quarter off with the rock. Took the bump at the top of the key, tried to find some space, finally does, but may need help as Maddie Potts commits the foul there. That will be her first. But for Florida State, how about 4 players in double figures? They had 3 players with 10 or more points against Virginia Tech, and Coach Wyckoff said, that's exactly how I like it spread out. Everyone can have the green light. So a little extracurricular activity between Burrows and Tania Latson. You got to think it's been a frustrating day for Latson trying to find any space in the paint, though. Syracuse has really made it difficult for her to get good looks.
Yeah, you see the smothering defense right there, and Burrows just coming over the top. Latson continuing the hustle. Pulled her down a little bit.
Awarded the jump ball there, so Syracuse looking to get on the board first in this final frame. Woolley needs it and gets it.
You asked, she answered. So there we go. Woolley, shooter shoot mentality. I love just her continuing to be aggressive offensively.
Tania Latson with the response, rattles that one in. She now has 21. Excuse me, on the day as Woolley with 12. And that one just sails out of bounds. So a turnover unforced for Syracuse as they are now at 20. We mentioned the pace of a game, and for Syracuse, they really found ways to slow things down in a stretch as they were able to get the deflection underneath. But for Florida State, they found moments of the game to speed things up, especially off the steals.
Yeah, I mean, this is the way Florida State likes to play. They play with a lot of possessions, and that's largely because of those steals. They're efficient normally off of those possessions, but Syracuse today did a great job defensively dictating and slowing that pace down.
So Florida State will get it back with 8 on the shot clock. They may relocate a little bit. Latson, double teamed again, 1 on the shot clock. Omaria Gordon like butter. From outside, OMG. Knocks down her 3rd triple of the game. Gets the steal on the other end. Omaria couldn't finish. Timpson fighting Latson for the rebound. It knocks it down. The biggest lead for Florida State. Now at 13.
Energy absolutely contagious, and it was a domino effect in those last couple possessions, starting with the 3, then a steal and a rebound, to a putback and a block.
Makayla Timpson gets her first block of the game in the first half. Florida State had 0 blocks. And they're second in the ACC in that department, but how about Omaria Gordon? Lights out.
The size flying at her, and I said it before, a domino effect. Timpson with the block. Woo!
Key word is synergy.
Exactly.
As we close out the 4th quarter, what team can have the most of it, as Florida State has found a way to really disrupt on the defensive end. Close to a turnover there. Burrows turns down the 3 off the deck, sends it to the baseline, and Wilson finishes on the glass.
And that's how the Orange are going to continue to chip away. They got to play defense to get some stops, but on the offensive end, get second chance opportunities.
Valenzuela knocks down yet another triple from the top of the key. She's perfect from outside, 4 for 4. Ten on the shot clock for the Orange. Backdoor by Camp. Burrows, 3 ball, good. Burrows hits her first triple of the game, giving her 7 points and 9 rebounds. So Florida State right now up 11, have been shooting lights out from outside. Does the Orange have a response? ACC Women's Basketball is presented by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC. Just under 7 minutes to go here in Tallahassee. Florida State has been pretty dominant in the second half, mainly from outside. They have found a way after starting 1 for 17 from outside to now knock down 5 for 6. I think threes.
Yeah, a big part of that Valenzuela, the player with the ball, number 6 in white, just made a huge difference. Being able to stretch the floor out also relieves pressure from the inside with Timpson, so she was able to get some looks inside as well.
So on that 8 for 14 in the second half, and Omaria Gordon has been a huge piece. We mentioned the big 3 for Florida State with KK Timpson, and Omaria Gordon has really put on a show in this game, especially getting things jump-started in Tania's Latson's being contained. 2 on the shot clock. Gordon out top. A rare miss with Timpson with the usual rebound. Gordon finds Timpson, the 2-man game. A bit strong, and the reach down by Verjao. As with that rebound, Makayla Timpson frustrated that she didn't knock down the shot, but she does get yet another double-double. Her 8th on the season. To take over the spot from Natasha Howard, the standout 3-time WNBA champion. And I love the conversation just having with Coach as well. It's like, I don't even know if she knows how good she can be, yet she's in the record books everywhere.
I mean, she has a nose for the ball on the glass, period. And, you know, when you put that dog mentality on there, it just is going to change the game. But you see it there at 39, just right there under Natasha Howard. But her ability to be able to crash the glass, you have to guard her when she puts the shot up and immediately box her out, double box, face box. I mean, teams are just going to have to do it. They're going to have help do it by committee when it comes to boxing Timpson out.
Velez knocks that one down. Still a double-digit lead for Florida State. Their largest lead was 14. Has a foul at the rim. So more free throws on the way for Florida State. They're shooting 85% from the charity stripe. So free throws 15 and 16 coming up for the Noles.
You saw in that possession how easy it was to get that pass into the paint. Now, Timpson did have 2 behind her, scored over them. But just in saying that, before the paint was clogged, now they're hitting shots from outside, so it just opened up looks inside. When you talk about that dynamic offense that the Seminoles play with.
Well, ACC PM with Mark Packer and Taylor Tannenbaum, weekdays at 4 Eastern right here on the AC Network and the ESPN app. Quick look on the other end for the Orange. Plenty of time left. As Florida State up 11, and once again, Eric Bruton will take a look at what's going on the clock as he stops play here. Getting everything adjusted at the table, and he'll tell both teams to go to their benches.
Players on the bench for clock foul.
So the clock didn't start once again. So they're once again trying to figure out how much time is going to be left off or put back on. You know, people are just happy to be in the new year, right? We're getting caught up. Everything.
Yeah, listen, we're getting
we need some
caught
time. Hope everyone is having a happy new year. It's a fun-filled Sunday. A lot of game action across the nation, and that's Florida State hosting Syracuse, who has really battled, but Florida State, and to be specific, Amaria Gordon and Villegas really kickstarting things from outside in that third quarter, giving them a bit of the energy. We'll take a look at the clock at the bottom of your screen, the right corner. Just never started. It's a significant amount of time.
Absolutely, you talk about time, a significant amount of time will be added on, which leaves plenty of game time left. The Orange only down 11, despite the runs that Florida State have been going on in this second half. So still a chance to chip away at the lead. It's going to start with defense. They're going to have to crash the glass.
So it seems as if we are all good to go. 5:15 on the game clock, 25 on the shot clock for Florida State. Tania Latson finds Amaria Gordon for yet another three. Didn't graze the rim.
What I say, You always got to watch the player inbounding the ball. They're likely to get it back, and that was a great execution off the sideline out of bounds.
Omaria Gordon with 16 points, 4 triples on the day. Just a quick correction for Valenzuela, 3 for 3 from outside, as we do have a foul that's going against Florida State. This one going against Amaya Bonner, her second. So 2 fouls each team before they are put on the free throw line as we're under 5 minutes to play. 2 players with 3 or more fouls for Florida State. Tanaya Latson with 3, Omaria Gordon with 3. And quickly, Burrows knocks down the baseline jumper. Burrows getting it done in a different way. Leads the team in 3-point shooting, putting it off the deck. And Tanaya Latson able to come down with the rebound. Finds Omaria Gordon. That one couldn't connect. Wilson asked for the ball, had to bring it back out. A little bit too much sauce. Georgia with 10 seconds left on the shot clock, just short on the attempt. And Tanaya Latson slows things down for Florida State. As for the screen from Makayla Timpson, rolls. Velez has won a beat. Goes at Bonner, but couldn't get it over her length. Bonner standing at 6 foot, got the block, and Syracuse will get it back underneath.
It was great defense, how you wall up, size up, ran into a wall there, kept her positioning, and got a great block as well.
So for Syracuse fouls, got Bergeau with 4, Thompson with 4. Georgia Woolley has 3. As we do have a full timeout called for Brooke Wyckoff. It's been a battle throughout this entire game. Florida State was up as many as 14. Syracuse has been able to find ways to chip away. Well, here's Saturday's ACC Network men's basketball triple header. Clemson hosts Florida State at Littlejohn. That's at 2 Eastern. Then North Carolina, NC State, and Raleigh. And finally, Virginia Tech takes on Cal. Always great action right here on the ACC Network.
Getting back to your point about the Orange just continuing to chip away, I think the threes that Florida State has been knocking down have really increased the lead here, but for the Orange, just continuing to chip away, starts on the defensive end and offensively. I think they need to continue to be aggressive, attacking downhill, try to get to the free throw line. There's plenty of time left.
Well, as this one is about 3:48 left in the 4th quarter. How about Clemson being tied with Stanford? That one's going into overtime. Syracuse and Florida State here, as we mentioned, and Duke handling Pitt 69-31. But the key game that was on ESPN earlier is Notre Dame winning by 10 against North Carolina. Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles strike again. NC State also taking the win 91-52 over Boston College. As there's another foul called against Omaria Gordon. Not too thrilled about that one. That would give her 4. Eric Bruton heard about 2 words from Omaria Gordon, said, nah, it's still a foul.
Yeah, Omaria Gordon perplexed at the call. She thought it was a flop.
Georgia Woolley being guarded by Bonner. How about the defense from Amaya Bonner and the take by Burrows?
Great cut to the basket by Burrows when she saw Woolley getting caught up there at the high post.
Burrows with 11 points. Her average is about 10, and another stop for Syracuse. Now there is going to be some conversation between Karen Piatto and Eric Bruton, and it will remain Syracuse ball.
One thing that teams will continue to learn just watching the film on the Orange, this is a team that never lets up. They're going to play until the clock runs out here in the fourth, so you can't take your foot off the gas. Got to keep it going.
Burrows, corner three, good. Burrows coming alive here in the fourth quarter. She's leading the way with 14. 3 players in double figures for Syracuse. Latson pulls up, back iron. Timpson tried to tip it to herself and finally finds the hands of the Orange. 7-point ball game as Potts pulls up and gets it to go. 9-0 run for Syracuse. They've hit their last 3 buckets, as Florida State hasn't hit their last 4. Approaching the 2-minute mark with 10 on the shot clock. Tanaya Latson once again seeing a double. Skip pass, and that was to the 4th row. 16th turnover for Florida State.
You talk about synergy and that would be the key late in the stretch, and now we are seeing it here with the Syracuse Orange.
9-0 run for Syracuse, down 2 possessions, a 5-point ball game. Tanaya Latson outstretched for the steal. Valenzuela turned down the 3, kicks it to Timpson, and can't connect. Woolley couldn't connect on the 3, and Omaria Gordon able to come out with the ball. Finds Latson. Latson at the rim. Count the bucket. So Velez picks up her second. What a take by Latson.
Down the wire, the ball in the hands of the superstar. Tanaya Latson executing with a great finish here.
Woolley took a hard fall after trying to go after the rebound. Went into the body of Timpson. Slow to get up. Took a hard fall against Georgia Tech 2 nights ago. .68 seconds left in this ball game as Wilson couldn't follow through on the layup.
And those are a lot of bunnies that we've seen missed inside in this game. And we talk Kyra Wood being out of the game. I think makes just such a huge difference.
Latson with 23 points will step up to the free throw line once again today for 6 and 7. She's 4 for 5 from the charity stripe today. And when we say 23 points, it has come hard, because there was a stretch where she couldn't find a bucket from the floor, but the resilience that she's had, but also how she impacts the game in other ways, really freed things up. And you have to credit Omaria Gordon as well, and Makayla Timpson, and Villegas, and Valenzuela for freeing things up in this game as KK Timpson sent that to Monroe Street.
That's that dog mentality that Brooke Wyckoff wants to continue to see in Timpson. Not today, not ever.
Less than a minute to play in this ball game. Wilson looking for some type of angle as Valenzuela battles for the rebound, looking for help though, and a foul called against Syracuse. Florida State is in the bonus. So Valenzuela will be able to step up for 2. And Journey Thompson fouling out of this ball game and waiting for her substitution as Angelica Velez will check back in and Thompson will be retired. Knocks down the first of the pair. And for those of you looking for Louisville and Wake Forest, that game is beginning on AC Network Extra. We'll get you to Winston-Salem as soon as we finish here in Tallahassee. 32.9 left in this ball game. Georgia Woolley sends it outside. Potts, more hot potato. Velez finds Potts again, double pumped. A lot of contact underneath on the floor and some more drawing between both sides. Sanaya Wilson having words for Valenzuela.
I mean, this has just been an aggressive back and forth game just on both teams. So the chippiness, these are teams that want to work, they want to win. Have another look at it here. Toss up on the rebound there, a little entanglement. And there goes the chippiness. Drawn at one another, Valenzuela.
So Coach Jack having a conversation with the officials as well. Somewhat confused about what the conversation may be. It seems like they both got reprimanded. Syracuse will get it underneath with 18.3 left. And everybody can breathe. Woolley, it's been that type of night for her, as this should just about do it. Florida State will dribble across the line as Tanaya Latson gets the Florida State faithful out of their seats. And they move on to 3-0 in ACC play, and Syracuse still in the hunt for their first win in conference play. They'll drop to 6-8, and Florida State on to 13-2.
Such an amazing
so
game.
A 5-game winning streak